Hello and welcome to Taffy Crafting. My name's Donna and today I'm going to show you how to make an origami dress. I learnt to do this from YouTube and so I'm going to show you how I do it and what I use them for as well. And I've just been using them in my card making business, and I'll make a dress like this and I might just fix it to a card and put a sentiment on it, and it just gives a card just a little bit of life. But you could think of all sorts of things that you could do with this, and your choice of paper as well will also bring this dress to life. I would suggest that you use a pattern that's quite small. You don't want a huge pattern on it. You want to be able to see what's going on, and I like this because it's a kind of ditzy dress in a bit of a rock and roll style dress really. So let me show you how to do it. You must start off with a square piece of paper. It must be exactly square. So this one was probably from a 5 or 6 inch square piece of paper. I've done them smaller, but the smaller they get, the more fiddly they get. So start off with at least 6 by 6, and then you can decide then what size you want the dress. It does depend on the project. So I'm just using an ordinary piece of Stampin Up DSP, and the first thing I'm going to do is fold it in half. And when you're folding anything in half, you need to be as accurate as possible, because it will make a massive difference in the final outcome of the dress. Because when we start to, this is what it looks like on the back, so you can see these foldings, they're quite intricate, and they really do need to be as square as possible. So we're going to fold it in half that way first, and then we're going to fold it in half the other way. So that's what you, your first step. You're going to have a square piece of paper and you can have a fold either side. The next thing you're going to do, looking at the reverse of the paper, remember if you have a directional pattern on your paper that you must decide what's going to be the top and the bottom of your dress, so that if you've got something that's got to be up a particular way, then make sure it's not going side to side, that it's actually going up and down if that's the way that it needs to go. So looking at the reverse of your paper, you're then going to take the edge and fold that into the middle, meeting that middle crease. And do the same on the other side. It does help if you can see the creases really well. I've not got the best light in here. So then fold that up to the middle. If you want to use a bone folder, I would recommend that, and really get those creases nice and crisp. I'm going to do that on that middle one there, otherwise I'm going to struggle with that. And with that one there as well. Just do that middle one again. So that's what we're looking at. We've got our 4 creases in here. So we've got this middle one, and then we've got a crease either side. Take the first crease, fold it up and over, and you want to make sure that that middle score line, or that crease line, matches the score line, and that your fold line goes exactly up to that crease line. It is a bit tricky. I mean, I'm using good quality DSP here. If you did it with paper to start off with, I would suggest that, because it's much easier to practice on paper. But I'm using designer series paper here, which is, for those of you that use it, a lot thicker. If you tried to do this with cardstock, you really would be struggling. And then you want to take the other side in as well. So again, make sure that that fold line there matches the other fold line, and bring it right up to the other one. So you shouldn't really see, these 2 fold lines should meet. That's what you're looking to get. Okay, hope that makes sense. So what you've got here is you've got this, and you've got this fold line in the middle. So fold it in like that. Now this is, at this point, we've got so many layers, your paper will start to fight against you. You need to be in charge. See what happens here when you fold that over, that tries to open up. It's very difficult to stop that happening when you're using thicker paper. As long as you tell it who's boss, you should be fine. And so if it does open up a little there, don't worry about it. Now it's at this point you need to be sure what is the top and the bottom of your dress. For this paper that I've got here, it doesn't really matter, but if you had, let me show you a piece of paper. Say for instance we have this paper. Obviously we want our balloons to be facing upwards. We'll look a bit daft if we've got our balloons going the wrong way. So make sure you know what is the top of your dress. So we're going to do this. Take the top of your dress, turn it over like that, and we're going to fold it back on itself. Now there's no exact measurement for this bit, but what you want, I don't know how much that is, let's measure it. We've got about a centimetre. It really isn't exact, but that's what you're looking for. This one is essential though, to get a good crisp crease on that. Because now we really are going to start fighting with the paper. You've got to show it who's boss, but be careful not to rip it. And this is when you're practicing with paper that you might find that you start ripping it. But it's fine, that's what you're practicing on. Now, if you look up here, we're going to get our finger into that kind of crevice up there, because what we want to do is then make the shape of the skirt. So we put our finger in there, and we're just going to push this out so that we form a V there, up to that point where it meets. And then just push this upwards. Get your bone folder and crease it there. And you'll do exactly the same on the other side. You get your finger in there so that you can get a good crease and it doesn't fold back on itself. Get that to form that corner there. Get some really good pleats on that skirt. For any of you that are dressmakers as well, you'll look at that and get quite excited about that. But you've got those two pleats on there. And when you put this on a card or something, you can actually give some dimension to it. And you'll see it take shape a little bit more in a moment. So that's where we are on that bit. And we're going to turn it over. This bit is a bit tricky. So bottom of the dress here, top of the dress here. If we have a look here, what we need to do is we're going to do something with this. So I'll show you what we're going to do. We've got a crease line here, and we're going to fold that into there to form a triangle, and we'll do the same on the other side. I'm just going to firm that down there. If you haven't got a bone folder, what could you use? I don't know, really strong fingers. You might want to use, very, very carefully, back of a pair of scissors like that. Careful not to rip your card. But these are great because they're completely blunt, but they've also got this tip here that you can get into corners. So you've done that, you've folded that over. Now you want to open that out again. You look at that. You want to open that out. And what happens is you're then going to, this is tricky this bit, then fold it back. So let me show you again. So we folded those down, you then open it up. Get your finger in there to open that up, we've got a bit of a mouth going on there, and fold it down. It should go quite naturally together, but it might want to fight with you. But you want a nice square going on there. Okay, the next bit, so you see we've got this, we need to form the neckline. So we've got a fold there. We're going to very carefully fold that there and just crease it. Fold that there, do exactly the same on the other side. And fold that there like that. If you turn it over, you'll see then that we've formed the neckline. The next thing we're going to do is give it a waist. So if you put that on its side like this, And this we want to fold over up to where it meets this bit here. Now if we fold that right over, that's going to rip. So what we want to do, we're going to fold it over like that. It wants to come back on itself. So what we do is form that shape there. You're in charge of this, and you're just going to fold it there like that. What we've done is that we've brought this in at the waist and we've given it a shape. Do the same on the other side. So you're going to bring this up. This is going to want to come up with it. Let it separate and let it form at the waist. So it will come there at the waist, but you then create that shape there. Can get a better. I'm trying to do this without putting my head in shot. That's what I would normally do, get my head right over it to have a look. Hit bone folder and then just make a nice crease there. Turn it over, inspect your handiwork. Look at that. The last thing to do is to form the sleeves, and you've just got this last flap here to come over. And you're going to fold that over just where it gets into that corner there. That one there. And that one there. Turn it over, and there you have your origami dress. And you can make lots of these.